Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And whilst all those sexual shenanigans, illicit affairs, and sordid little trivialities afford themselves press elsewhere, I've already done the video on it this morning as well, we are going to take a look at other matters, and one of them is the A9. And research suggests that the A9 may take a little bit longer to actually duel than was initially envisaged. How long does it take to duel a road? Well, how about over a century? Seriously, you could have rebuilt the road in 10 years, but they're going to take over 100 years just to duel an existing road, because that's how slow they are. That's how embroiled they are in the sort of anti-road, anti-car politics of the Green Party. They are absolutely a joke that it's going to take 100 years. There are children as yet unborn who will never see the A9 completely duelled. How about that? Wow. Let's have a look at the story and see how awful the SNP are and how destructive their policies are for the people outside of the central belt. Here goes. So, SNP left humiliated over A9 as research suggests that duelling will take over a century to complete. How hard is it to build a road? It didn't take 100 years to build the first A9. Why would it take 100 years just to duel it? It's because of the inefficiency and stupidity of the SNP. The Scottish Government admitted that the road between Inverness and Perth would not be completed by the 2025 deadline, and have so far refused to set out a new timetable because they know that it would make them look like a complete bunch of inefficient, opportunistic buffoons who are determined to put independence above the good of the nation. And that's exactly what they are. So there's no worries there. But how does it take 100 years to duel a road? Unbelievable. You can build a whole new road in 10. It's just stunning, isn't it? Anyway, the SNP have been left humiliated after research found that their flagship promise to duel the A9 may not be achieved for 100 years. Countries around the world, third world countries around the world, will be looking at Scotland and laughing behind their back, sniggering. Humza Yousaf out there on his little holiday, fully expensed holiday with the Saturday girl in Dubai, and there'll be people out there sniggering, looking at him and going, can't even build a road, what a wanker. And quite literally true. Quite literally, this is true. There was originally a 2025 deadline to complete the upgrading of the road between Perth and Inverness, but this was scrapped earlier this year when the then Transport Minister Jenny Gilruth was blaming COVID and the war in Ukraine. Yes, because something that happened 4 or 5 years earlier and a war that's happening 1,000 miles away are obviously to blame for the lack of, road builders? Really? Really, Jenny? Is that the best you could come up with? You couldn't tell the truth? That you're both inefficient wankers who can't build a road on time? Seriously? I see there was no delay in putting out your foreign embassies. There's no delay in those glossy brochures. But building a road? Wow. And you're blaming the bloody Russians? Come off it. Anyway, the Scottish Tories have claimed that if the current pace of progress continues, then the project will only be completed in 2134. A full century after the original deadline. This was described as shameful by the party. Well, it is literally true. That rate of progress will take that long, given the rate of progress at the moment. Imagine if you had a government that went in and said, right, this is what we're going to do, and did it. Wow, that would be a whole different ballgame, wouldn't it? Anyway, their analysis was based on Transport Scotland's annual expenditure rate of £37.9 million since 2012 and continuing annually until the initially promised completion date of 2025. They looked at the rate of investment seen between 2012 and 2023. The estimated time frame for all the work on the trunk road linking with Perth to Inverness was calculated on the basis that Transport Scotland's annual expenditure rate of £37.9 million since then continues annually until the promised completion date. And so far, the Scottish Government has spent more than £455 million on duelling the road. Do you know that the other thing is they've spent £300 million alone, and we covered this the other day. They spent £300 million investing in a part of the road that has not yet been dualled. £300 million, and they've got nothing, literally nothing to show for it. Somebody is stealing money. Someone is getting fat off this project for no reason whatsoever. There is nothing out there. So far, this means that there's been an average investment of 37 million, nearly 38 million each year, and they've done 2 out of the 11 sections of the road. 38 million a year. You could do the entire road for £100 million. I could build you a new road for £100 million. This is just a ridiculous waste of money. It is unbelievable that it's that bad. It's not unbelievable, of course, it's the SNP. It's unbelievable if a private company was to do it. But of course you've got government and therefore interference and therefore stupidity and also grift. People are making money. People are stealing from the public purse. There's no other way. You cannot spend that amount of money, have so little to show for it, without there being corruption, criminality and theft. It's as simple as that. 35 years in the construction industry I worked. As an accountant, I know how much stuff costs and I know how quickly stuff can be done. There's no way this has been completely legitimate. Anyway, Humza Yousaf and his administration have been accused of betraying the Highlands due to his failure to completely dual the road in the timescale, and he has drawn the ire of fellow nationalist Fergus Ewing, as well as everyone else who lives further north than about Falkirk. Scottish Tory Transport spokesman Graham Simpson claimed that the figures demonstrate the appalling betrayal by the SNP of those who rely on the A9. He said every day that these essential upgrades are delayed, more lives are put at risk on this deadly road. And it isn't even just lives put at risk, there's also the delays, the harm, the damage, the cost to the economy. I mean, you think you've got a transport with like 100 sheep in it or something coming down that road. Those sheep, instead of going down that road for 2 hours, are sitting there for 8 hours. The distress that caused these animals. It's disgusting. And yet it could be easily solved if only the SNP pulled their thumbs out of their arses, stopped listening to the Greens, told the Greens to shut up and go away, and actually got on and did the job. And stopped interfering, of course. That's the important thing. Anyway, Simpson said the Nationalists originally pledged to have the A9 fully dualled by 2025. Yet, at the current rate of progress, it will be well over a century late. That, he said, is beyond embarrassing. It is shameful. SNP ministers were already making pitiful, snail-pace progress on this, but the addition of the anti-car Greens to government has made things worse. And then they're blaming the bloody war in Ukraine. How dare they? It's a load of shite. No one who's building that road is fighting in Ukraine. They're looking. Oh, it was because a man had a dog. Oh, I've got this bone in my leg. Oh, look, there was some rain on that hill over there. These are the levels of the excuses. It's childlike, isn't it? It's childlike excuses. My dog ate my homework. Anyway, despite the mountain death toll and the understandable fury of campaigners, they continue to drag their heels by delaying a promise statement to Parliament. The rural communities who depend on the A9 want to see the talking stop and the work to start on the huge stretches that remain single carriageways. And it isn't going to change, is it? They just don't want to do it. They can't afford to do it. They don't want to do it. And they think that if they drag it out long enough, people will forget that the A9 even exists. That's the SNP way. It's just a joke. And they are just worse than useless. Anyway, I'm going to round off, come up, and we'll finish the video. There is definitely criminality going on. You don't spend that kind of money building a road that somebody isn't stealing money. I've done the job for 35 years. I know how long it takes to build a road. I know how much it costs to build a road. There's no way that road is costing that much without thievery, without corruption, without backhanders, without envelopes stuffed with cash, without people grifting their way to a fortune on the back of the public purse. No way. It's just impossible. You can't spend that money I can't see a way of spending that much money on a road and not have anything to show for it. The public are being stolen from by this grifting organised crime outfit that calls themselves the SNP. But what are you going to do? The police won't get involved because the SNP own the police. The justice system won't get involved because the SNP own the justice system. The only way you can deal with this is to make the SNP an illegal organisation, break it up, hold everyone who's a member accountable and charge them for being a member of an illegal organisation and jail every one of them. It's unbelievably bad. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do press the subscribe button. Do ring the bell. Do press the like button. Definitely share the video, and we will come back and do another video later. It's just a never-ending river of shit with the SNP, isn't it? Honest to heavens to Betsy. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.